Somebody please let me know what we have to do, just what we have to do to shut these conservative Christian moral crusader politicians up when they start talking about abortion, when they start talking about how they're making just reasonable requests, when they're talking about this isn't just for my faith, this is about what's right and what's moral. What can we do to get them to shut up, leave women alone, let them make their own decisions regarding their pregnancy, their health, their reproductive health, let them make the choice and leave it at that? Because I thought this entire time the conservatives were all about getting the government off of us, reducing the size of government. But they have never had any qualms about trying to tell a woman what she can do with her pregnancy or what she can do with her own body. And as it turns out, a lot of these abortion bills that they are passing aren't just aiming to just completely wipe abortion out of women's minds. They're aiming to wipe clinics out of existence. They're aiming to make doctors and OBGYNs move to go find places that have easier, more lenient regulations when it comes to abortion. Everybody's getting screwed over. It's not just abortions. It's pap smears and cancer screenings and breast exams and STD checks and treatment. It's not just about abortion, and that's what people need to realize, especially when bills like HB 5711 come into existence. This one specifically is in my home state of Michigan, and before all of you people start going, oh, there's bills everywhere, it's not just Michigan, you're just talking about Michigan because you live there. I've made videos about legislation like this that have been passed or been trying to be passed in Arizona as well. So, and yes, I will admit I'm a bit biased because I live in Michigan. You see, I love a lot of things about this state. I also hate a lot of things about this state. They've been balanced out, but once I read this HB 5711 legislation, and I read it all, trust me, the balance shifted. The balance shifted because Michigan is now controlled by conservative Christian assholes who think it's a-okay to try and force women around when it comes to their own health. Trying to tell a woman what she can do with her own vagina, with her own reproductive health at its most basic organic form is ridiculous, nonsensical, and it is uncalled for. I don't care how much your faith affords you to believe that you need to be passing this shit just to get abortion out because it's not gonna please God. I don't give a shit. Here is what is happening with this HB 5711, quite possibly one of the most heinously written bills as it pertains to abortion in this entire country. HB 5711 would force women who have abortions to pay for the burial, cremation, or interment of any fetus 10 weeks or older. This is a first for the nation. This kind of language is a first in the nation. Which means if you have an abortion and you're past 10 weeks, the financial burden is on you, the woman, to pay for a burial or a cremation or an interment of this child, of this, not even a child, this bundle of cells that you just evacuated from your stomach. Hey, it's okay, they're getting the abortion, they may as well fork over a bunch of money. We may as well make sure they know what they did is immoral by making them pay for this unnecessary bullshit. That's what they think. For fetuses at 20 weeks gestation, a death certificate must be obtained, subjecting the woman to potential public scrutiny at a time of private stress. And when have conservatives ever really cared about keeping your private life private? When have they ever cared? I mean, let's be honest. What they're basically doing is pervading themselves into a woman's private life. They may as well be standing over them with a fucking magnifying glass, scrutinizing every detail of their lives. Because here's another thing. Before you do get this abortion, before you get this immoral, awful abortion, they have to put you through an oral screening, which is basically a police interrogation, making sure that nobody coerced you into doing this, and they can say whatever they want to try and change your mind, because having an abortion, no matter how much you think it's right, no matter how much you think it is wrong, it puts you in a very vulnerable state. So when they get you in these interrogation rooms, they can say whatever the hell they want to try to get you to change your mind, even if you've been raped. I scoured this entire bill. I went through the PDF file, and in all the pages I read, there was not one thing that protected women who have been victims of sexual assault, and that is fucked up. But hey, Jesus would want you to keep the baby either way. That's just Jesus testing you, isn't it? That's just Jesus testing your faith. If you keep the baby, you're a good Christian. You're going straight to heaven. But if you abort this thing that you didn't want in you in the first place, by force, oh, here comes the guilt. Additionally, Any doctors who perform abortions would have to make costly and unnecessary renovations to their clinics, even if they only administer the morning after pill. The dramatic effect of all this needless regulation is the closure of most Michigan health centers that provide abortions, and the remaining ones will be forced to charge much higher fees for services that 1 in 3 women will need sometime in their life. Yeah, so this bill, if it doesn't just raise the cost of services that are not directly related to abortion, like cancer screenings, like pap smears, like other vaginal exams, like STD screenings, like anything else that has nothing to do with abortion, then the clinics will just be shut down because the doctors will just go somewhere else that has easier regulations when it comes to abortion. And this is another thing. Under the bill, some physicians performing more than 5 abortions per month must carry $1 million liability insurance, and it completely bans the best method for many rural women to access medication abortions through telemedicine practices. Michigan women, and this is 100% true, Michigan women are already suffering from too few obstetricians and gynecologists, especially in rural areas, and if HB 5711 gets passed and signed by the governor, Rick Snyder, who is a complete prick, some doctors will quit providing abortions, leave the state, or simply retire. So let me set the stage for you, ladies and gentlemen, okay? These doctors find out all these new regulations that they have to comply with, and the $1 million liability insurance thing, and all the other things that are going to come with this bill, and some of them will go, this just isn't worth it anymore. I'm going to go to another state that is not as anal about their abortion practices, not as anal about their abortion laws, and I'll go there and I'll be able to make more money and I'll be able to see more patients. Fuck this, I'm out of here. Yeah, is that what you want, conservatives? Is that really what you want? Do you really want less Planned Parenthoods? Oh, of course, they want no Planned Parenthoods. You leave it up to them, they wouldn't want Planned Parenthood at all. In fact, the woman's vagina should just have a big lock over it with property of the GOP written on it, right? Now this is the worst, well, maybe not the worst part, but this is something that's... I had to read this over many times because I couldn't believe it. The committee that considered this bill in the Michigan House heard testimony from 10 people, okay? 10 people sat around a table mulling over this, talking about it, discussing it. 9 of them were against the bill, including a board-certified OBGYN. Just one person testified against this, and guess who it was? It was the leader of an anti-abortion group. Now you think 9-1, you got 9 against, 1 in favor. Oh, no, we shouldn't pass this. Nope, guess what? It still went through. Through that adversity, the bill still went through. And after they come back from their little recess, their little vacation, they're going to be voting on this. And chances are, since Rick Snyder's one of those conservative asswipes, it's going to be passed. This is bad, ladies and gentlemen, because this bill could set the standard for other states. Because this is the most extreme one I've seen. You should be worried if you're a woman in your state too, and you give a damn about your reproductive rights. Because this bill could set the standard for other states. This should go, wow, they raised the stakes. Why don't we do the same thing? Why don't we do the same thing, right? You should be worried. And this is a petition that I don't know, not a lot of my fans I don't think live in Michigan. But in general, if you think this is fucked up, because there is a danger, this isn't just sensationalism. A lot of states pattern their bills off of what other states have passed, especially when it comes to Jesus freak crap like this. I will put the link to the petition in the bottom. You can sign it, do whatever you want with it. This shit needs to be stopped. I'm sick and tired of conservatives thinking that they have the right to infiltrate a woman's personal, private life, thinking that they have the right to infiltrate her life, make her decisions for her, and basically tell them you can't make these decisions. I don't care what anybody says, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what anybody has to say about this. This country, by and large, is still anti-woman. And I'm not a feminist at all. It does not take a whole lot of searching around to figure out that this country is still largely anti-woman. You need a little bit of evidence. You need to make it easier to figure this out. Read this. Go to the bill, click on the links, read the wording of this bill, and you will see for a fact. Go look at the bill that they passed in Arizona. I don't know if they actually passed it yet, but the legislation that they tried to pass in Arizona. Just look at any of the anti-abortion websites of people crusading about how women should not have the choice to do this because they're killing an innocent child. The guilt and the pressure they put on these women, especially women that have been raped. I mean, it's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen, and something needs to change. So hopefully you can help me out here, and who knows, maybe we can get this shit stopped. But I highly, highly doubt it because Rick Snyder's a headstrong little businessman fuck. So, what can you do? You can always vomit, but that wouldn't really help. No. Then the conservatives, if a pregnant woman vomits, the conservatives will be there with their little magnifying glass saying, "Did you vomit up a fetus? Let's check for a fetus. Oh my God. Okay, oh, okay, you're good. Yeah, see you later."